right, guys, so today we are talking about eBay versus Amazon. Which is better? Which is a better fit for you more specifically?
Yeah, I would say that too. Like, which is a better fit for you, because there's pros and cons to both, and we're going to dive into them a little bit on today and kind of why we choose eBay, but a lot of people also kill it on Amazon. So there's different, it kind of depends what fits you in what you want to sell. So, and yeah, there's pros and cons to both platforms. So we're going to dive into those. And that is one beauty of this whole business. Like, we've been able to interview some awesome people with awesome businesses on this podcast, and like, there's just so many different ways to do this business, which is so cool. So we're going to dive into why we choose eBay for our business model.
Yeah, there's not only eBay and Amazon, there's so many other platforms, but today we're talking about eBay and Amazon because, to be honest with you guys, those are the two behemoth. Those are the biggest platforms out there for selling. And yeah, that's why do we actually use eBay versus Amazon? And then, kind of like Melissa said, versus, I mean, the pros and cons on both platforms. So you can make
educated decision on what you want to do.
Decision on how you want to start your business if you need to.
Yeah. And I would say too, like, before we dive into all that, like, we've looked into doing Amazon a couple times. Like, we've thought about it. We listened to our friend sells on Amazon, and we're like, oh, we should go and do this. And then we never really did. It wasn't appealing to us, and we'll dive into a couple of those things why. So let's just go ahead and start off. So like you said, Amazon and eBay are the two like really biggest ones, and I would say Amazon is bigger obviously than eBay, and that's one of the things they have going for them. And they're one of eBay's biggest competitions, because think of it as a consumer, if you're going to go and buy something online, are you more attracted to your Amazon Prime app or the eBay app? So it kind of depends on what you're buying.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, even us, we tend to go to Amazon. So that's probably a lot of people.
Yeah. The majority of the time that we're actually spending money on eBay is if I can't find it on Amazon. The reason we go to Amazon is because they're quick. I can order something this morning, and sometimes I can have it here by this afternoon, or the next day. You know, Amazon Prime, you can do that the next day. So it's very, very convenient. Now, stuff that we sell, the majority of what we sell is a higher dollar, a higher profit item, and those are the buyers who are actually looking on eBay. They're not looking on Amazon because Amazon can't ship the stuff that we're selling. Our ideal client or our ideal customer, they can't do it. So, but for us, the only time I'm really buying on eBay is when I can't find it on Amazon, or I can't, that Amazon doesn't have it available, because Amazon, it makes it so easy to buy and return, which Melissa will get into that more in a minute. But the biggest thing is the quick shipping for us. That's why we use Amazon for buying.
But make sure that you're using eBay to buy those items. We just talked about this on a podcast recently, to build your feedback. If you're trying to build your feedback, switch to eBay to buy some of those items to get that feedback.
Yep.
But like you said, people do, and like that us, but a lot of consumers gravitate to Amazon for certain products. So it does depend what you're selling. So if you know like what kind of items you want to sell, if you want to sell, specific types of, you're going to look at new items that are maybe more arbitrage, or if you're selling used items, like that could determine where you want to sell at. But you said the returns, that's a big reason why people do buy on Amazon. But that is one of the biggest reasons we don't want to sell. Us personally don't want to sell on Amazon, because we don't like returns. You have to have a big profit margin, and you have to know like what percent you're going to get back in returns. Like, sometimes we order stuff like, okay, we just ordered 2 shirts in 2 different sizes, and we know we're going to return one because we didn't know like what size we needed. So like, I don't know, you just have to factor in those returns, and we don't like returns. So
Amazon makes it so easy to get that return. You guys know that. It's just so easy. If you don't like it for whatever reason, if it doesn't fit, if it's broken, whatever it is, I mean, you can return it like that. No questions asked. That's how they built their platform, is on returns, which is awesome as a buyer when you're looking for something, but it's horrible as a seller when you are selling stuff. It makes it very, very hard to know what your income is going to be, because you can be forced to take that return no matter what. If somebody just changes their mind, you can be forced to take that return, and which you're not only losing the money on the item, you might even be losing shipping. They might even be charging you, which we're not sellers on Amazon, so I don't know how that whole thing factors in, but you might be losing money on shipping as well. So going in the hole on an item versus just, breaking even with a return or something like that. You might even owe money to Amazon. So like I said, that is one of the biggest fallbacks as a seller. Looking on both platforms, it's way, way more appealing for us to be on eBay.
And we have felt the effects of that on eBay, because eBay does want us to accept returns. They want their buyers. They try to compete with Amazon, but they are a different platform, and they have to realize they're a different platform, and they have a different person that's coming to their app. And then instead of trying to compete with Amazon, they need to just be their own app. But when Amazon came to the game, like that eBay wanted sellers to start doing free returns, be able to get top rated seller, to be able to get, and we don't do returns on our items. They're typically, people are investing, a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s in our items. They're asking questions before they buy the item, and then they're buying it. And if like we deliver the product we're saying we're delivering, then we don't typically have a lot of returns on those items. So
yeah, it is a big point. And you can be selling smaller, lower profit items that you might be in the same boat. eBay does want you, they're trying to compete with Amazon. They want to make it as easy as possible for you to return items, and they want their sellers to offer returns. We specifically don't. For the items that we sell them as is. They're as advertised, as pictured in videos. I mean, we do everything possible to show the buyer exactly what they're getting. And typically we don't deal with returns. Every once in a while we'll have one, but if it is, typically it's shipping. Something got damaged in shipping, which we are covered because we always pay the extra amount for insurance through shipping, and it's packaged properly. So that's one of the biggest things, is the returns that Amazon really forces their sellers to do. eBay, they try to do it as best they can, but you just have to really know how you're selling and your clientele on the items that you are selling.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest reasons we don't. That probably is one of the top reasons.
Absolutely.
And eBay's more of a platform for used items versus Amazon, and we sell used items. So we don't, which that is what we like to do, because you love to treasure hunt.
Yeah.
You love to find those things out in the wild, like going to thrift stores, going to flea markets, like that. It's a high you get. People love to go find those treasures. So, but that's also to some people, they don't want to go out and do that. They want to sit at their computer and they can do drop shipping. They can go find a product and go put it in their store and then get it fulfilled by Amazon, and they never have to touch the product. So that's something that's appealing on Amazon's part too. I don't know all the fees. We don't know all the fees involved in all of that, but we will in the blog post and the show notes or the blog post of this episode, try to get some more information in that of some of the fees, and like versus, because there's fees on both sides of Amazon and eBay, and there's also different fees if you have fulfillment by Amazon or fulfillment by merchant. So there's two different ways. So if Amazon does it, you're going to have more fees because they have to store your item, they have to ship your item, so you're going to be paying for that as well. Versus if it's fulfilled by you, you're doing the storing and you're doing the shipping,
which is more time on your end of it. So
time.
Does it weigh out? Yeah, who knows? To be honest, we've never sold on Amazon, so we can't give you an accurate depiction, or what is it? We just can't tell you exactly comparison eBay versus Amazon. We just know the majority of sellers on Amazon, what they have to deal with.
Yeah,
so,
and we did interview John Muscarello of Side Hustle Experiment it was episode 127. So if you guys want to go back and you can listen to that, we asked him some questions and some of his numbers, and like it, because it's a percentage of what you're bringing in that you're actually profiting. And so he was transparent and talked to us all about numbers, and he was hitting some big months. So it was really cool to talk to him. So you can check that out too and learn a little bit more about Amazon. But I wanted to also add that another thing that I feel like that eBay has a big plus over Amazon is it's way easier to get started versus Amazon. There's a lot of red tape to get started. You have to be ungated of certain, I never really tried, so I don't know all of the things, but I know you have to be like certain areas, you have to be ungated to be able to sell those items, and that doesn't happen with eBay. The biggest thing when you're starting on eBay, they do limit you to how many listings you can have till they know that you're a legit seller, and they will hold your money until the item is delivered.
Yeah.
Is it a set number?
I don't know when you start off you're talking about.
Yeah,
like what's your inventory amount?
Well, if your first 10 get sold, then you get your funds immediately. Do you know the number?
I don't. It's $1,000, $1,500. So they don't want somebody jumping in who's a scammer and list stuff.
A good thing.
Exactly. Selling stuff for dirt cheap and then not ever fulfilling it. And so that's the biggest thing that they're trying to avoid by having set limits when sellers first start. But to be honest with you guys, I mean, I could go as a person who's never sold on eBay before. I could open an account in 10 minutes and I can go and list something immediately on eBay and get traction and sell that item. Now, I can't do it with a $5,000 item because it's not smart. eBay won't do that kind of stuff. But you can absolutely do it with a couple items that are, $25, $50, $100. You can totally do that and get started in one day. Amazon, not that easy. You can't just do it out of the gate. The other thing about Amazon is typically your searches on the run-of-the-mill items that people are selling, your search, might be 5, 10, 15 pages down before somebody sees your item, and chances are somebody's not going to scroll 5 or 10, 15 pages down to find that item and buy it just from you. So I know there's a lot more that goes into Amazon and getting your item seen first, Our items that we sell on eBay, typically there's very, very few competition with it. So the large items, the items that people won't ship, we're putting those on there and we are shipping them, but we don't have a lot of competition. So somebody's going to see our stuff on the first page, second page, to where they're scrolling to find the best deal on these items. They're used items, and it just makes it that much easier for us to get traction versus trying to start it off on Amazon.
Yeah, I will say there's more competition on Amazon. As a consumer, I tend to go and see like, well, what is Amazon suggesting to me? So those are people that I think they're paying for promotions. I'm assuming that those
I would definitely assume so.
Those are they're on your first page.
Yeah.
So, and those are the things like I kind of look at. I look at price. I look at, can it get here fast? And then usually it's the first page. I'm not going super far past the first page of items, maybe the second page of items on what I'm looking for. So
I'm looking for reviews when I do Amazon for items.
Look on reviews?
Absolutely. So
See, I don't feel like I do that much.
Well, an item that I'm looking at, it's just like eBay. People are looking at feedback on eBay. If you're selling a $5,000 item, they're not going to go and buy it from somebody who has 1, 2, 3, 4 feedback. Typically, they're not.
Yeah.
They're going to go to the seller who has 500, 300, all those feedback and then has 100% rating on the feedback. Amazon to me is reviews. I want to see not a review that has 5 reviews on it. I want to see one that has 500 reviews, 1,000 reviews. So you know this item has been sold many, many times, and you've known the people who have given it the reviews, typically 4 or 5 stars. Then you know it's probably a pretty legit item. That it has. Yeah, that's the comparison on Amazon versus eBay. Feedback versus reviews. To me, that's how I shop on Amazon.
Yeah. So there's definitely, like, we love selling on eBay. We feel like it's easier to get started and it makes sense for our business. A lot of people do crush it on Amazon too. So I did want to also, in the link in the show notes, put our friend Jessica LaRue from the Selling Family. They have a whole bunch of resources to help with getting started on Amazon. So we'll put those down there. And if you wanted to get started on eBay, you can check out our free flippingcourse.com to get started on eBay. And hopefully that helps you get started there. And anything else you wanted to add about eBay versus Amazon?
Nope. That's it. All the links will be below, guys. Check it out, guys. We cannot wait to see you guys on the next episode.